How's it gangin', dudes and dudettes? My name is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. And oh boy, okay, good news, bad news. Andrew Yang didn't make the debate. That's the bad news. Good news is that really doesn't matter. And he fired back. He strikes back. Oh man, Andrew Yang, kind of coming for blood here, just a little bit. Okay, so let's get into it now. There was a press release. Now, you might be noticing I'm not just pulling this press release up myself. That's just because I just didn't get the email. So I figured what better way to get this information instead of just searching for it and finding, some the actual thing and just reading it myself. I figured I'd go ahead and give Problem Solver Politics a shout out because they're the first ones who upload this to my knowledge, and they do pretty good work. And, we're pretty much on an even playing field, and I like these guys, right? Hey, if you guys ever want to do a collab, holler at your boy, you know what I'm saying? So, before we get into this, go ahead and smack that like. Go visit Problem Solver Politics, because if you don't know if you're following Yang, you have to know who these guys are. If you don't, then probably living underneath a rock. But yeah, smack a like because the algorithm loves the gravy, man. You gotta give the gravy to that algorithm. If you don't, it's the overlords, man. They come after you. They start smiting YouTubers. So if you want mashed potatoes with your gravy, you gotta share the video. Okay, it's just the way it is. Gravy, mashed potatoes, like, share. They're synonymous. You gotta give gravy to the algorithm. Okay, so let's get all that's out of the way. I'm going to head and pull this up here so you guys can see it better. And I'm going to go ahead and read through it a little bit. So there's a Yang 2020 press release for immediate release January 11th, 2020. The polls have it. Andrew Yang should be on the debate stage, but he is not. There's a reason for that. Yang fired back with it gets spicy. Okay, so yesterday, CNN and the Des Moines Register host the next Democratic primary debate on January 14th, announced their latest poll, which found that Iowa caucus goers won Andrew Yang in the debate. This poll by the debate host proves that voters' opinions are shifting as they start to pay closer attention to the candidates. There is genuine momentum behind Andrew Yang's campaign, and it would be a mistake for the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, the corrupt beyond all corruption, to keep him from the last debate before the Iowa caucus. It's and people want to defend these polls and say oh, he can't even poll this, blah blah blah. Like, the polls are rigged. Everybody knows this. Bernie bros who were complaining about the polls in 2016 are all oblivious to Andrew Yang's the polling, that it's obviously rigged. They chose old polls from November that he would not meet the new requirements. They upped the requirements of the last weeks before, which it wasn't that. And then on top of that, there's numerous anecdotal accounts of people being polled and Andrew Yang half the time not even being an option. The polls are rigged. On top of that, DNC, they say, oh well, we're outsourcing our polls and other people are doing the polls, so we're not. There's no fault at us, but they are picking and choosing which polls to include and picking and choosing which polls to release and let release. So, you know what I mean? It's just like they're gatekeepers, and gatekeepers make the rules. So, if the DNC had only done their due diligence. If the DNC had only done their due diligence and commissioned polls in early states, Andrew Yang would certainly be on the debate stage next week, but they didn't. They didn't because it's hard enough for them to fight an anti-establishment character like Bernie Sanders. It's even harder when you have to have two. They've already kind of pushed Tulsi out a little bit, and they've already unleashed a beast with her. She's gonna be a mainstay in politics for a while, and they do not like that. But to their credit, they corrupted her right out of the race, and they're trying to do the same thing to Andrew Yang because half the race is anti-establishment people, and that's unprecedented. They can't be controlled. Well, Bernie Sanders kind of can be controlled because he bent over for Hillary, but despite that, for the most part, Bernie Sanders has a good track record, and Andrew Yang is. He doesn't really have a loss in my book. There's a couple things I disagree with him on, but that's everybody. I disagree with everybody on certain things. And if you blindly throw away a support for somebody who's good on 90% of the issues, maybe he's a little iffy on a couple, and that little iffiness completely throws you off, well, then guess what? You're ignoring those iffy things in your own candidate too, and by your own accord, you should throw that person. You know what I mean? It's just. You gotta be able to have some nuance in your own dang head. If the DNC had only done their due diligence, woo, oh snap, and commission polls in early stage, Andrew Yang will certainly be on the debate stage. We are not going to allow the DNC to dictate who they wish to see as the nominee and deny the will of the people. The issues that will decide this election, the future of our country, are too important to ignore for the sake of staged political bickering. Oh boy, it's getting spicy. All right, the DNC tried to run this same play in 2016, and they paid for it with a loss in the general. Oh boy, yes, Trump's going to take the general election again, said campaign chief Nick Ryan. Nick Ryan coming out with the golden gloves, boy, just smashing them. Okay. With the lack of polls put out after the last debate during a period that also included the holidays, Andrew Yang sent a letter to the DNC chairman Tom Perez proposing a simple solution. The DNC should commission 4 early state qualifying polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina, where all the candidates have invested their time, resources, and staff. That's right. They chose not to. Why? Why did they chose not to, gang? Huh? Gang? Why do they choose not to? It's because it pushes people out. They want to push people out. They don't want to give their just desserts. People who make it so far, they don't care. They like, oh, there's 5-10% of the nation supporting this person. We don't care about those millions of people. We don't care. We like our people, and we're going to narrow it because we're a third party entity, and we can do that. It's election meddling and rigging, whether it's legal or not. When the DNC refused, the Yang campaign decided to commission 2 polls with 2 highly regarded polling organizations, Patnick Research Strategies and Myers Research in New Hampshire and Nevada. The unbiased feedback showed that Andrew Yang is on the rise and at 5% in Nevada and New Hampshire. Myers Research and Patnick Research Strategies have worked with the Democratic Party for many years and have conducted polling for party organizations, including the DCC, the DS, all kinds of alphabetical stuff, Both pollsters would have been considered by the DNC if they had commissioned any early state polls, which they chose not to do on purpose. Andrew's campaign is a grassroots movement that has grown from virtually nothing to having almost 400,000 donors and 1 million contributions. Andrew Yang has managed to create a broad coalition from the future of our country, and the Democratic Party needs to keep bringing more people into the fold instead of trying to keep people out of the political process, because Andrew Yang is one of the biggest candidates for converting other people. I'm a conservative myself. There's, Cardin Ellis from Problem Solver Politics is a conservative. There's plenty of us out there. The guy from Grassroots Yanking, he's converting so many people. It's like the DNC it's like they're destroying their own party. I don't understand what's happening. It's like they're oblivious to every single thing they've done that's done nothing but whittle them away into nothing. They're continuing to do that. It's like I don't understand it, man. It's like if you was drowning and you had a life raft right there, you keep pushing it away from yourself. It just makes no sense. I don't get it. So yeah, guys, there you have it. Yang fired back at him, and so a lot of people have been asking me, like, what do we do now? What's going on now? Is it over for Yang? No, it's not over for Yang. Like I pointed out in last night's video, whatever it is, that the thing is, there's people who's made, and historically this has been true too, there's people who's made a couple debates, missed a couple debates, and then went on to make a couple debates again, So that doesn't really mean nothing. And Yang has so much more money than everybody else. Some even polling higher than him, some polling less than him. So he has enough money to last, to make a mainstay. Now, we do have a small path to victory. It's a small window. When the voting comes out, if he does really well, that's going to do nothing but thrust him into the limelight with the media again. His polls are going to then start doubling and stuff like that. It's just historically how that works for smaller candidates, right? So now, if that doesn't happen, what do we do? Well, then we do everything we can to make sure that he, at some point, gains some sort of delegates across all these votes, right? California probably might happen with California. There's all kinds of different stuff out there. And once he starts taking votes away from some other candidates, we might have a chance to get him in some sort of VP or cabinet pick. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but at the end of the day, he is a mainstay in politics now. He's made a success out of this. He is now a celebrity. His ideas are in the fold of American societal fabric. And we need to keep that going on so he can have a better chance at running again next time around. Because if you're hardcore Yang, that's what you would do. I was like, okay, we won a few battles. We didn't quite win the full war, but there's going to be another war here after a while. And now that we have a huge army behind us, it's going to double next time. You see what I'm saying? So there's it's a long game that we're playing now. And we have to transition into that and have that sort of thinking. All the while getting out there, caucusing, doing everything you possibly can to make sure that he makes a huge splash and takes this thing home. And if that happens, if we can't take it home, we gotta get with somebody who can take it home and get our ideas into the fold. I know people hate hearing that, but if it doesn't work out perfectly for us, you got to take the best worst case scenario, right? And that's what we're going to do, because we got to get his ideas out there, because his ideas is the first time that real solutions have been introduced. And come hell or high water, even if he doesn't get the presidency, I still want some of his ideas into the political sphere with some sort of candidate somehow, because all this work would be for nothing then. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Shout out to Pop Star Politics, all that good stuff. I appreciate, let me go to this community post here real quick. I appreciate everybody who went over here and subscribe to this guy. If you guys, if you're up and coming YouTubers and you're putting in work and you can prove that you're putting in good work and you know what you're doing, you're trying your hardest, get a hold of me. I don't mind helping you guys out. Okay, we got to get as much out there as we can for games. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.